Students, this is chapter number 11, Coordination and Response, the structure of human eye. In our previous lesson, we went through the gross structure of eye, both the frontal and horizontal views. We got to know about different structures and how they are operating and what their functions are. In today's lesson, we will go through lens accommodation for far and near vision, and we will see what pupil reflex is. First, understand what accommodation or focusing is. This is the ability of the lens to adjust itself or to change its shape depending upon what distance you are viewing the object from. It's a reflex action, means it is not under your conscious control. It is done on its own by involuntary means. This is actually the adjustment of lens to give you a clear image of objects at varying distances. It's a common observation that whenever we are looking around, we are looking at things which are near to us and also which are far from us. To view those objects clearly, it is important that our lens accommodate itself or adjust itself depending upon the varying distances, and it is purely done because of the elasticity that the lens possesses. First, we will see what is going to happen or what the system is to view things at distance. Look at the diagram here. If you see that the object is at distance from the eye, the rays of the light rays which are coming to strike the cornea of your eye are coming parallel to each other. When they strike the cornea, they will be refracted or bended and would converge on the retina. But what is happening here is that ciliary muscles which are present here in the ciliary body are relaxing. And what about suspensory ligaments? They are becoming tight or taut, or you can say they are being pulled. All these expressions are right. Suspensory ligaments will become taut, tight, or will be pulled. On the other hand, the ciliary muscles, or you can say the circular muscle in ciliary body, would relax. It will make the lens thinner, longer and flatter, like you can see here. On the other hand, if you are looking at things that are near to you, the rays that are coming from the object would not be parallel. So they would require more bending or more refraction. This would happen because of the change in the medium. If you know that the medium of your eye and air differ, hence the light would refract or it will be bended from its original path. It would be done by lens and the cornea. If you see here that the light rays are striking cornea and after that they are converging on the retina. But what's the mechanism behind it, how it is done? The lens, if you see here, is becoming fatter. It is thicker compared to the previous slide that I showed you. Ciliary muscles are contracting here and suspensory ligaments are being relaxed. So you see all these two things which are happening side by side are opposite to what happened in accommodation for distant object. The lens was becoming thinner and flatter. Ciliary muscles were relaxing and suspensory ligaments were tightened. On the other hand, when you looked at any object that were close to you, the lens became fatter and thicker, ciliary muscle contracted and suspensory ligaments relaxed. This is the summary of what happens during lens accommodation. Distant object, for that light needs to be refracted less. While on the other hand, if you are viewing something which is close to you, the light rays striking it and coming to your eye would need more refraction or bending. Ciliary muscle in case of far vision would relax. In case of near vision, they will be contracted. Suspensory ligaments in case of far vision would become taut, tight, or would be pulled. On the other hand, ligaments here for near vision would relax. It's very important, the last point, the shape of the lens. The shape of the lens would be flatter, longer and thinner in case of far vision, and lens would become shorter and fatter for near vision. You can remember the shape of the lens by imagining the glasses that we artificially use. If you have seen that people who are having weak far sighted, or they are not being able to view things clearly from a distance, what they use are spectacles which are having thinner and longer lens, which are thinner in the middle and thicker at the edges. On the other hand, people who are short-sighted, who are unable to view things clearly from a shorter distance, are using those spectacles with lens that are thicker from the center and thinner from the edges. So this point can be memorized or can be kept in mind by keeping in mind the shape of the lens of people who are using spectacles for different sight issues. Now come to pupil reflex. Pupil reflex again is a reflex action, involuntary response to light, to the stimulus of light. It involves the control of pupil size. If you can see in the diagram, the pupil is constricting and dilating. This is done because of the varying intensity of light. Whenever you are in bright light or intense light, your eye pupil constrict so to save your retina from excessive light. When pupil constrict, less light would enter in your eye and it would prevent the retina from the damage. On the other hand, when you are in a darker room, you want that more light should enter in your eye, so the pupil size should increase. So pupil dilates when there is dim light and pupil constrict when there is bright light. So we got to know this common observation that whenever we are in intense light, whenever we are exposed to intense light, this is a defense mechanism that pupil would constrict to decrease the amount of light entering into the eye, preventing the damage to the retina. On the other hand, whenever we are in poorly lighted rooms or poorly lighted regions or areas, our pupil would dilate so that more light would enter into the eye on the retina to give us a clear image. This common observation is not that simple. Behind it are two antagonistic muscles of iris. Iris is a structure in your eye. In previous lesson I told you and I showed you the label diagrams of the structures of the eye. Iris was one of it. What it had were circular and radial muscles. First, understand what these circular muscles and radial muscles are. Circular muscles are arranged in circles in the iris, as you can see here in the diagram. On the other hand, radial muscles are arranged to the radius of the iris. If you can see, they are radially arranged, hence called radial muscles. Muscles that are arranged in circles are called circular muscles. I used a term antagonistic muscles. What are those muscles which are named or labeled as antagonistic muscles? These are the muscles that work opposite to each other together to perform a specific function. Whenever the pupil constrict, circular muscle will contract and radial muscle would relax. You can remember this by 3 C's. Pupil constrict when circular muscle contract. So these are 3 C's that you can memorize, that circular muscle would contract when pupil would constrict. On the other hand, this is opposite when you are in dim light. Here circular muscles are relaxing and radial muscles are contracting. Always mention the name of iris with these muscles, because if you remember, circular muscles were also present in ciliary body. So not to get confused with both of them, write circular muscle of iris contract and radial muscle of iris relax whenever this question comes in your paper. To understand this, I have placed this animation again. If you see, these are the circular muscles that are shaded with dark gray color. Whenever they are contracting, the central hole, which is the pupil, is constricting. So you can memorize this by this diagram also, that whenever the circular muscle contracted, the pupil constricted, and when it will happen? Only when you are in bright light. On the other hand, radial muscles are contracting on the other side when the person is not in the bright light, when pupil has to be dilated. This is the summary of what happens during pupil reflex. Radial muscles, straight lines, contract and become shorter to pull the pupil black dot. The pupil is actually the black hole which allows light to be entered, making it wider to let more light enter to form a clear image on the retina. This is all happening when you are in low light. What about high light? You need to protect your retina, you need to protect your photoreceptors from high intensity light. So you need to constrict the pupil, and it would be done by contraction of the circular muscles and relaxation of the radial muscles so that the pupil constrict in order to protect the retina from the bleaching effect of intense light.